Inside Eastern Utah. I am Scotty Draper, and we are here to talk about a business rich in history here in Carbon County and also serving Emery counties. We're here with Bobby Etzel from Mitchell Funeral Home, and we're going to talk a bit about what the funeral has seen through these past years and what they're offering up until now. So thank you for joining us, Bobby.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate it.
It's an honor to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Let's start at the beginning. Tell me a bit about how Mitchell Funeral Home got started.
Mitchell Funeral Home started in 1939 when Richard Dick Mitchell opened up the establishment, and it's still located on 233 East Main Street. So it was the original location we're still located in. And Dick Mitchell was the owner there until 1967. And my father, Robert Etzel, had the opportunity, and some of his partners that purchased into Mitchell Funeral Home, to work alongside Dick Mitchell. So a lot of history there. And my dad started, he graduated from mortuary school in 1965, I believe. He went to California. So our funeral directors there at Mitchell Funeral Home have graduated from funeral homes in California, Oregon, 2 from California, and then our youngest actually attended the mortuary school here in Utah.
Great.
So a little history there. A lot's changed, but
a lot of diversity in the background and experience. And you know, I love what you just mentioned. So you're going on 80 years? I got math. And so it's impressive for a business to be around for 80 years, but to even be in the same building for that long is definitely an impressive feat. And you guys have probably seen, you know, some changes through then, but also some tradition and some stability has come as well.
And over the years, my dad's always had a hammer in one hand, and the mortuaries, even the last year's been recently redecorated and renovated. So in a small community, we're probably one of the largest mortuaries anywhere. We have services where we can seat upwards of 300 people. Very large facility and parking. A lot of places don't have that. We have a lot to offer there.
Yes, and so people definitely hope they don't have to see the facility in the near future, but if they do, it's definitely an impressive
we welcome everyone
there.
to come in, and we'll give you a tour, show you around. A lot of changes, some new faces there and things. One of the oldest fixtures there's my dad, 51 years. He'll be 88 years of age on the 31st of January this year.
And that is impressive. Last time I was there, he's the first person I saw when I walked in the door. He was sitting there, and he's just been a permanent fixture there. And
he's always said he'll be the last one to let you down, and I don't think he's going anywhere. And turning 88, he doesn't plan on retiring.
He's still chugging along.
Every day.
And so obviously that has been in your family for quite some time. When you were growing up and seeing your father in this position, it obviously inspired you a bit. Did you always know that you wanted to kind of go into the family business with him, or?
It was gradual. There was always that opportunity for me to have employment, to work alongside my dad in a lot of different capacities, whether it was washing cars, being the janitor, running errands. Always had that opportunity there. I wasn't forced to go into the business. It was something after I finished college here. At College of Eastern Utah, I had an opportunity to go to the University of Utah, and it was after then that the doors opened, and I knew I wanted to return and serve the wonderful people and residents we have in our community.
So after you graduated, now you've been funeral director since 1993, is that right?
Licensed since 1993, graduate of Mount Hood Community College in Oregon. So all my schooling was here in Utah, except a year mortuary science in Oregon.
Great. And so obviously your family is very involved. Your wife is involved as well. Take us a bit through who else is on the team there, who people can expect to interact with.
You're going to find 4 licensed funeral directors and then my dad there. So my dad, Robert Etzel's been there since 1967. And then myself as a licensed funeral director since 1993. And we also have Jeff Jensen. He's been on board since about 93 while I was in mortuary school. and then Patrick Fillingham in the early 2000s, and then more recently, the last couple of years, was Tanner Hackney. So everyone is a fully licensed funeral director in the state of Utah, and we're honored to have a staff that you're going to meet with that is a fully licensed funeral director from start to finish.
Great.
And then my wife, Annette, maiden name Liturgis, has been there working at the funeral home since the early 90s.
She got on board quick, huh?
She got on board. Had an opportunity to go to mortuary school with me before we married, but my dad knew her place was to stay at the mortuary for that year while I was gone. So, and she is a licensed cosmetologist, and she's the office manager at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Yes, she wears many hats. She certainly stays busy over there.
And we pray for her having to work with all us guys there.
I know,
It's
she's
interesting at
outnumbered,
times.
isn't she?
She is.
Oh, that poor gal. Well, I think another thing we talk about all these years, something you have really prided yourselves on, is serving all faiths, all walks of life. No matter who you are, where you come from, what you have, they're going to find a place there with you guys.
We have that diversity there that I think we're small enough to care and large enough to serve. And it's incredible in a community here to have funeral directors that were born and raised in Carbon and Emery counties. It's when that phone rings in the middle of the night, the families that we serve are, they love to see someone that they know and recognize, and that's been probably the greatest thing for us, helping families through that process. Typically, once we're in the home, we're going to serve that family from start to finish.
Yes.
In the funeral industry, they call it a whole man approach, and I think it makes you become a better funeral director because you're involved with the family from the beginning until the end.
And I think that's something that might be, I don't know if necessarily unique, but we might be kind of, say, blessed here in this small town, is that personal approach and that fact that most people do know someone that works at the funeral home, and it really makes that connection a lot deeper during that. I mean, it's a trying time already, but to someone you know, someone you grew up with, or, you know, it kind of provides a much better experience when they have someone they trust behind the scenes.
And it does. And then I think with our hospice companies we have in the area, our law enforcement, our doctors and everyone, there's a deep pride in our community of being family owned and operated. So you're seeing people you know caring for families before we get into the home and even after. And it just makes that a much easier process. A lot of the clergy in the area here that are conducting the services are born and raised. They've experienced the same things with their families in the area here, and they're there to make sure everything is cared for those families. So.
And we talk about this process. Let's briefly touch on it. Can you tell me what someone could expect when a loved one passed? Kind of walk me through what the process is for those that haven't had to handle it. What can they expect?
Usually the first thing, we have initial contact with the family when there's a death, whether it be in a residence, a hospital. We have that initial contact with the family, or in the home, meeting with them sometimes during, which I would consider normal hours, or sometimes early morning hours, a little more difficult for families. And we're there to help them through the process, to get them thinking and preparing for the funeral services in a way to memorialize their loved ones' services. And we're always trying to incorporate the loved ones' wishes and help them through that process. So we're in the home. A big thing that we work with ETV10, the newspapers in the areas here. Most families want to get the obituaries in our local papers for family and friends. Big change has been the internet anymore. A lot of times before the papers come out, people in our community are learning of someone's passing through the internet. So we have a lot of different businesses here supporting the families at their time of need, whether it's running complimentary obituaries or putting them on their websites. We're informing people, not only in the Carbon and Emery counties, but for a lot of our families. And we've seen some of our best people have to move out of the area because of loss of jobs and things. It's a good way to keep everybody in touch, and we didn't have that years ago.
And you do, but if I may interrupt real quick, you mentioned out of the area. You guys also help people that have passed but grew up here and still want their services here to be buried here. You guys also work with that as well.
Encourage families, if you're expecting the loss of a loved one, to give us a call. We have funeral directors in other states that we work directly with. It's not uncommon. We are licensed in Colorado. So for a lot of our families down south, when there's a death in the Colorado area, we go straight into the Colorado area and handle everything right through Mitchell Funeral Home in Price. A lot of miners working that's moved out of the area and went to Wyoming, we've been able to assist and help their families with just placing a phone call. We know who to get hold of in those areas. So we do travel a lot.
Yes, this is not a 9-to-5 job. This is a 24/7 whenever the call comes through. And we mentioned, you know, if you might be planning for something for your loved one or even for yourself, do you guys offer funeral planning?
We do offer pre-planning, and it's a wonderful thing to at least come in, meet with the staff. For most families, when they're thinking about it, just give us a call. It's great to come in, and we'll help you through that process.
Yes, so
and it's good to talk with your family
Yes.
about your wishes and desires, but I think it helps by putting something down in writing, and we can walk you through everything.
And it helps maybe alleviate some tough decisions for your family members after you're gone, to not have to worry about some things. So it's certainly, if you haven't been into the funeral home, it's a great time to go. You can, you can tour. You don't always have to be there for a sad situation. You can come and plan and get ready without the added pressure.
And one thing we've done the last few years is our memorial tree during the holidays, and it's a great opportunity. We've been able to meet with families. A lot of those that we've served throughout the years. A lot of the community members come in and look and see the families that have passed the previous year. So it's
you guys
good.
put a nice photo of them in an ornament, so everyone that passes in that year, their loved ones can come pick it up during the holidays and have that with them forever. So
And we welcome everyone to come in and look. It's a newly renovated facility. There've been a lot of changes there. I think the best thing is we have to offer that we're all there 24/7 for you, with licensed funeral directors born and raised here in the area, willing to serve your families at your most difficult time.
Well, you guys are certainly doing a great job, because that is often a very tough situation, and you guys have been great with handling and working with families throughout these many years. Obviously, 80 years going strong, going on the big 80. So we appreciate you taking some time to join us and tell us a bit about the history and what people can expect. And if you haven't been to the funeral home lately, you can stop by. They're always welcoming. You can come take a tour, talk about pre-planning, or look the memorial tree during the holidays, obviously very popular. And just, we appreciate what you're doing for this area and the care that you're putting into
We
it.
appreciate you, and it's just an honor to serve some of the best people in the world. We truly have in our communities.
Well, thanks again, Bobby, and thanks for joining Inside Eastern Utah. Stick around, we're going to be back in just a few minutes with more.